everybody doing? Alright, well, how many of you guys are excited about this? How many of you are still trying to figure out, how do I actually do this? How does this actually work into my business? Right? I've seen some hands even from some people that have been around longer than me. Let me just kind of take you back. Let me tell you a little bit of a story, and then see if this helps equate to you or help you figure out how this works from a business perspective. Is that fair? All right. So 23 years ago, I was 22 years old. I was working as a waiter about 2 miles from here. I was going to college full time, and I was introduced to this technology. And I was invited to our lab, which is basically where the pavilion sits now. It used to look like a post office. And I walked into this room, and I honestly don't know exactly how I got there. But I got into this room, and there's a device that's the size of half of a ping pong table. And I get scanned for the first time. It takes about 3 minutes. There's a guy, one of these guys with a white lab coat, standing up there. He's turning some dials and holding it. You know, the laser's about this long. And I put my hand up to it, and I get scanned, and I get my score. And my score at the end of the day, it was terrible. I scanned it as an F. I scanned it 14,000. You know, sort of like 140 now on the person chart, which is just a terrible score, right? But I also found myself in this room, a little bit embarrassed. I'm the only person in the room under 30. I'm the only one not in a suit, you know, or at least dressed in business attire. I think I might have been wearing jeans, but probably wasn't shorts. Yeah, and I'm starting to look around, and I just wanted to get out of there. I never heard the word antioxidant in my entire life. I didn't know what they were. I had absolutely no idea why this was important. And that scientist, I wish I knew which one it was, but that scientist grabbed me and he said, "That's a terrible score." Right? I mean, there's just a lot of tax, you know, and I kind of looked at him, and I just walked back up to him kind of sheepishly, and I said, "Look, I don't know how I got here. I don't belong in this room. You know, like, I'm just trying to get out of here without making it a big deal." And I said, "I don't know what the score means. I've never heard what antioxidants are. I don't know what they are. I don't know why that's important." And he looked at me, and this is what he said. He said, "That score means that you don't eat any fruits and vegetables. You don't take any nutritional supplements, or if you do, they don't work." And it was like, okay, well, how do you know that? Because that pegged me pretty close. Right? And it was like, and for the first time ever, I connected the dots between what I put in my mouth and how it actually affected my health. I never thought about that before. Outside of protein and carbs, I never thought about it. Right? And I think most people equate that. Most people think of health as how you look. Most people look at health and it's like, as long as I'm fit, therefore I'm healthy. But it's not that simple. There's more to it than that. And all of a sudden you start to look at it. And I looked at my nutrition differently. But from a business perspective, what I looked at was I had the opportunity now to participate and to help roll out a technology or a product that, because of patents, made it so we were the only company in the world that could do this and could give this measurement to others. That's what I saw. And here's what I thought. A lot like the rest of you, what ran through my head real quickly was, I can learn the other stuff. I can learn more about antioxidants. I can learn about nutrition or supplementation. I can learn about how to build a business or how to build a team. I can learn how to scan someone. I can learn about this technology and how this works and all this other stuff. But no one else was giving me the opportunity to participate in this technology rollout like this. That was the advantage. Now, a couple weeks later, my mom came out to visit me at school. And what you need to know and understand is that my mom was a personal trainer my entire life. Like, everything that I knew about nutrition, I had learned from her. In fact, she believed in supplementation. She had found what she thought was the best supplement out there. She believed in it enough that she mailed it to me while I was in school, and it just kind of stacked up in my closet because I didn't feel a difference, so I just forget to take it. And just had like 6 or 7 boxes of it stacked up in my closet. I mean, for your mothers out there, could your son ever come to you and just be like, hey, my supplements are better than yours? Like that conversation, my mom would have laughed at me. She would be like, look, everything you know about nutrition came from me, so just shut up, like that's not gonna work. But I was able to put her hand in front of this device. I took her to the lab, I got her scanned, and after 3 minutes, she got her score. And guess what? She was deficient. It was low. And she looked at me and she said, well, mine don't work. What do you have? And that was when all of a sudden, that was when it really registered for me. How many times can we have that conversation? How many times can we put somebody's finger on this Prism device and then talk to them intelligently about their nutrition? And just have a conversation. And guys, it's that simple. Can you do it 5 times, 10 times, 100 times? Could you do it 1,000 times? How many people on your team can then do it and move it forward? That's where this starts to take shape, and that's where it starts to begin to move forward, is having that conversation. Not because I was a nutritional expert, because I'm not, but because that device was the great equalizer. Right? That device now all of a sudden made it so that somebody that I loved and respected, I didn't have to go and say, hey, mine's better than yours. I could just put their hand in front of the device and let the device speak for me. And now that ping pong size, or half the size of a ping pong table version, then got shrunk down. And these scientists that you saw here today, I mean, how incredible is it to have a group like that you can put on stage, that you can show and understand that those people work with us full time. They're part of our company. They're putting forth like their life's work to make this happen. And they were able to shrink it down to about a 30-pound unit, which is quite honestly, it's like a modern miracle. And then a couple years later, it shrunk down to about a 15-pound unit. And then a few years after that, it went to about 3.5 pounds. And I never thought that it would be any better than that. I just thought that this is good enough. Like this is established enough for us. And then last summer, I had the chance to sit in Steve Hatchett's office, and he pulls out this Prism technology, and he sits it on the desk, and I'm sitting there with Stephen Warren. I'm looking at him going, "What's that?" And he's like, "We did it. We made it so that everyone can have it in their own home." It's absolutely incredible what is going to happen, the change that is going to happen, what that allows us to do. As good as that S3 scanner does, looks on the right, it looks like it belongs in a doctor's office. The Prism looks like it belongs in your home, like it belongs in your kitchen, like it's something that you could scan your family on. Now, if I've been doing this for 23 years and scanning people all over the world and building a team primarily built on this, we should have a little bit of data to back it up, right? We've shown this slide or some version of this slide for 23 years. And from a consumer standpoint, we've always talked about the fact that you get scanned, here's your first scan, then you're going to try our product. And why are you going to try our product? Because we know it works. And we're willing to put our money where our mouth is and give you a performance guarantee. That you're going to be able to get rescanned in 60 days, and if your score doesn't improve, we'll give you 100% of your money back. That should take all the pressure off, right? Every person that you scan should never feel like, oh, he's just trying to sell me something. No, like we're trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to make you and your family healthier, which is the whole approach. And you can't do that without the ability to measure. Does that make sense? I hope this is starting to resonate. I hope this is starting to come together. But what I want you to realize from a business perspective, because we're here this weekend, yes, we want the best products and everything else, but I want to make sure you understand how this fits into the business. And if you want to get really detailed on it, you're going to come to our breakout session on Saturday morning where a number of these people are going to teach you how to apply it. You're not going to want to miss that. But here's where